name's Art Young. I was asked just before we start just to say a few words about the latest developments with the Canadian vote to Gaza. I assume that most, if not all of you know, that the vote is part of an international flotilla of about 10 boats. People in Canada raised about $300,000, ordinary people, no corporations, to buy the boat. There are about 40 people on the boat, including Canadians, journalists, and other internationals. The Greek government, under Israeli and American pressure, has decreed that the boats do not have what they have under international law, which is a right of free passage, and have announced that none of the boats may sail to Gaza. Flagrant violation of the law. 2 days ago, the American boat set sail, broke out of the harbor. It was captured by the Greek Marines, towed back to a military base, and the captain was arrested. This morning, the Canadian boat made a break for freedom. The same thing happened, except that when the boat was towed back to shore, the Greeks rammed it against a concrete barrier and damaged the boat. The extent of the damage is not clear. Several of the boat participants have been arrested, including Bob Lovelace, who tried to prevent the Marines from coming aboard with his kayak. He's the native delegate from Canada. And so it's a standoff currently with people on the boat. It's unclear. It's been suggested that if they get off the boat, they will be arrested. As I say, roughly 2 to 4 of the participants have been arrested. So it's a serious situation. We ask for everyone's support. Sandra will be searching. Sandra? Oh, I'm sorry. Smedar will be circulating a lot of last-minute developments. Smedar will be circulating a petition that we're circulating, which says, end the blockade of the Freedom Flotilla, allow the ships to sail to Greece. If you can sign that. I'd also... To Gaza. To allow them to allow the ships to sail from Greece to Gaza. Okay, I'm on message now. We are currently discussing organizing another protest. We had a really great one on Saturday. We're organizing another one. There has been action at the various Greek consulates across the country. At this stage, I just ask you to watch for the alerts on the various lists that you're on, and please come out in large numbers when you get the alert. The idea of this was just a quick update, and I'm sure it'll be part of the discussion in the discussion period. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Art.
Okay.
We just heard as well that Sandra Baruch, one of the main organizers for the Canadian Vote to Gaza, as well as others, have been arrested. So there's going to be, just a reminder that if people can go over to the Greek consulate, there's a rally and vigil going on. It's at 365 Bloor Street between close to Sherburne.
I'd like you to comment on the flotillas, the present state of the Gaza siege. What do you think? Is it a useful thing to do? And what is your opinion of the reaction of the U.S., Canadian, and Israeli government? Thank you.
The flotillas, whether it's a useful tactic, and my reaction to the U.S., Canadian, Israeli response, certainly useful. As far as raising awareness about the siege of Gaza and about beyond the siege, that why Palestinians are being besieged in Gaza, and the fact that Palestinians in Gaza are predominantly refugees. That aspect is not coming out much in the flotilla literature, and it should come out much, much more. Because as I said, solidarity with the people, you follow the lead of the people, what they want. You do not decide for them what they want. Palestinians in Gaza certainly want nothing more urgently than ending the siege. But that doesn't end their misery and their suffering because of Israel, because the occupation will continue in other forms, and the denial of their refugee rights continues. unless they're allowed to return home, we can never see an end to the major political, legal, humanitarian crisis in Gaza. So the flotilla is an excellent first step. It should not be the last step. It should be more contextualized in the human rights realm, where it addresses people's rights, not just ending the siege. It's a very, very important step. The US, Canadian, and Israeli reactions are expected. They're extremely alarmed. They're very worried that more and more prominent people around the world are standing in solidarity, in effective solidarity. They're risking a lot, taking time out of their jobs, and you know, they're doing an amazing job going on those flotillas, and now being subjected to repression by the Greeks, of all people, the Greek authorities. And Greece was the biggest supporter of Palestinian rights before it went bankrupt and had to kiss the US and Israel's feet. So I think the response to their reaction it is quite expected for them to violate every law, including the laws of seas, and to violate international law to protect Israel's impunity. It reflects the panic among Israel's friends and patrons around the world. They're really panicking because Israel has never faced what it's facing now around the world. They've never faced a case where grassroots majorities in countries like Britain have gone down to the other side. They've never faced that. Recent BBC polls showed that Israel was competing with North Korea and Iran and Pakistan over the biggest threat to world security. I mean, that's how Europeans are viewing Israel. So I think they understand that they've lost the battle for hearts and minds, and that's making them panic.